wish to acknowledge that we are visitors on the traditional territory of the Comox Nation. I am Sue Moen. I live in the Comox Valley, and I came here via Vancouver, but I was born and I grew up in the prairies. And I had close ties to farming and to the First Nations communities in my neighborhood. This childhood afforded me the opportunity to learn about and appreciate, indeed to honor and respect the land, to put in more than we take out, to revere the plants and animals that feed us, and above all, to maintain balance. I learned a certain pragmatism. There are events in life we cannot influence and must therefore learn to accept. But almost everything that involves humans involves choice. And so I am here today asking that you choose to say no to this proposal. This proposal does not fulfill even one need. Indeed, this development is part of a pattern around the world, a part of a flawed economic paradigm that is destroying all that we do need: healthy soil, water, and air. I have been privileged to study with a Cree elder and participated in what is commonly referred to as a vision quest. He gifted me with the name Moen, which means an earth woman or earth mother. I have struggled to understand why I received this gift. I have struggled to live in a way that does duty and honor to this name. Like millions of individuals, I have struggled to lessen my impact on this planet. I compost. I grow some of my own food. I feel guilt every time I get into my gas-powered vehicle. I agonize over my consumer choices. Tonight, I will turn off my lights for Earth Hour. And I struggle against the rage and futility I feel that the individual actions, even of millions of us, do not balance this one proposal, the expansion of the tar sands. And so I come to understand what my duty is to this name, to this legacy. It is to do everything within my resources to oppose this pipeline. And I start with this presentation today. My primary argument against the proposal is through the lens of the precautionary principle, which denotes a duty to prevent harm when it is within our power to do so, even if we don't know all the facts. This principle has been codified in several international treaties to which Canada is a signatory. The World Commission on the Ethics of Scientific Knowledge and Technology expert group on the precautionary principle has developed a working definition for UNESCO, again, of which Canada is a member. This must be considered during your deliberations and your decision making. When human activities may lead to morally unacceptable harm that is scientifically plausible but uncertain, actions shall be taken to avoid or diminish that harm. Morally unacceptable harm refers to harm to humans or the environment that is threatening to human life, or serious and effectively irreversible, or inequitable to present or future generations, or imposed without adequate consideration of the human rights of those affected. The judgment of plausibility should be grounded in scientific analysis. Analysis should be ongoing so that chosen actions are subject to review. Uncertainty may apply to, but need not be limited to, causality or the bounds of the possible harm. Actions are interventions that are undertaken before harm occurs that seek to avoid or diminish the harm. Actions should be taken that are proportional to the seriousness of the potential harm. I believe the possible consequences to the environment, to human and planetary health, are sufficiently dire from this proposal as to be classified as morally unacceptable. Many have already described the likeliness of a pipeline or tanker spill and the devastation that would wreak on species health and on the marine, inshore, and estuary and land ecosystems. The economic and environmental effects of mining and transporting this product are serious and effectively irreversible. The bitumen will run out. And with no conservation or renewable energy plan in place, we are effectively robbing the next generations. There will be leaks and spills, the cumulative effect of which we can only dread. And if this pipeline goes ahead, the human rights of everyone in its path, or the path of the mining, transport, and burning of the oil, so pretty much all of us, will have been ignored. Many have already made the economic arguments. I am being told that the continued runaway development of the oil sands and other energy resource projects is good for Canada as a whole. I have not yet and do not anticipate any direct benefit from this project. I do, however, anticipate and dread the inevitable degradation of our environment and the costs that we will have to pay for generations when the pipe or the tanker leaks or loses against nature. I have been told that 130,000 new jobs will be created in the tar sands over the next decade, and somehow that will benefit me and mine. We don't need those particular jobs with their negative impact on the social and cultural fabric of the communities involved. The equivalent investment into local sustainable industries and jobs would far exceed, for far, far longer, the economic impact of this development. The vast majority of the money being created benefits very few. This economic engine is fueling somewhere and somewhere someone else, not Canadians. Many First Nations view their actions through the lens of 7 generations. A friend of mine of Chinese heritage describes his family and his culture's plan. The lens is 100 years. We seem to operate with a lens of 4 years or less. We are pulling the resource millions of years in the making out in decades and sending it away with no long-term plan or benefit to our country or communities. The lack of a plan, or if there is a plan, it's too horrendous for me to accept, is another reason I recommend you deny this application. Yes, the lack of a national energy plan is beyond the purview of this panel, but if you say no, maybe our government will start to discuss it in a reasonable and rational manner. I personally want to see the expansion of the tar sands slow and stop, to be replaced with renewable energy and energy conservation industries, but recognize that that is a different fight. I believe that within the pro-pipeline economic arguments are inconsistencies and contradictions to what is actually happening in the industry today. They are making those arguments just for the sake of making a case with nothing to back them up. A comprehensive overall national energy strategy and plan that includes the slowdown of tar sands development, local refinement and distribution to Canadian markets, and investment in renewable energy to replace oil and gas would truly provide long-term benefits to all Canadians. This pipeline is designed to assist in the useless destruction of what should be a precious and honored resource. Useless because the fossil fuels will run out, and Canada has no plans to conserve what we have, develop alternative fuels and energy, or to change the paradigm of our lifestyles and economies to benefit not only our citizens, but the world's people. My name is Sheaman Iakwe. I recommend that this panel deny this proposal.
Hell yeah.